Everybody shut up and action. Alright guys, today we're gonna be talking about Mufasa, the Lion King. You know, the sequel to The Lion King. This is Mufasa, the story about the king who, if you haven't seen Lion King, I highly suggest you go watch that movie before you even think about watching this one, because first off, this movie was surprisingly really good. I was just expecting, okay, it's the story of Mufasa and Scar, their brotherhood, how things develop. Oh, I didn't expect much. I was like, okay, I like The Lion King, I'll watch this. And this one actually blew me away. This one was surprisingly good. I genuinely enjoyed watching the story unfold. This review will have minor spoilers from The Lion King if you haven't seen that, so please do watch that if you haven't seen this, because regardless, if you're going to watch this movie, watch The Lion King first, whether it's the animation or the Disney live-action version. Regardless, they're both the same thing. Pick your version you want to watch. I think the animation is better, but whatever. They're both good. Anywho, down into this movie, this is essentially the story about Mufasa and Scar, how they first became brothers, and the bond between them. That is a very basic sort of plot line of the movie, and that is essentially what it is. I'm going to weave through this movie in ways of going like, oh, instead of good at the start and bad stuff at the end, it'll just be weaving good, bad about things I enjoyed and didn't enjoy about this movie. And let's just get right into it like that, because I really did like this movie, and just one of the few things I didn't like about it was the way they go about introducing it. Because the way the story kind of develops is like, oh, Daddy, you have like Simba's kid, like, you know, Simba. His dad has to leave with his mother because they have to go to mating grounds, you know. So he leaves his kid alone with Rafiki and, you know, the pig and the weasel, whatever they're called. I forget the names way too often. The Hakuna Matata duo. Like, he leaves them with them, and like the kids immediately just starts crying, Daddy, don't leave me. Like, bro, he's gonna come back in like 20 minutes, bro. It's like your dad leaving you home alone for 20 minutes. Like, and he's crying like his dad died. Like, oh my god, bro. Like, when they leap into the story in this direction, it just kind of goes like, what the hell? And it's just really cringe and just feels really stupid. Like at point, it's like, yeah, it's a nice way to start it, but for majority of the way, it's just like, what the hell are you guys doing? This sounds so goddamn stupid. But and that's just initially just bringing you down to like the depths of your soul, going like, oh my god, this movie's gonna be trash, isn't it? But then once the story actually starts, holy crap, it was nice. There are so many parallels, so many minor details which just hook you in so much, and then the entire bond between Scar and Mufasa, and you see how Mufasa is just doing his very best to be the best friend for Scar, and like, everything about this movie is just from that point onwards just hooks you in. Yes, it breaks at time for you to go back and realize, oh yes, this is a story being told to Simba's grandson. And like, at those points, it's kind of like, do you really have to break the story like this apart? It just feels really dumb once again. But honestly, everything about this movie, it's like anytime you break back to the present of Simba's son and everyone else, it's like breaking apart from the actual story. But whenever you're talking about the actual story between Simba and between Mufasa and Scar, it's actually really good. It's funny from that perspective. But regardless, there are so many minor details referencing back to the Lion King in the behaviors of Scar and Mufasa that just really hook you in. And the key thing that really delved me into this movie is like the key aspect that hooked me into these characters so much more is that Mufasa's life was always in Scar's hand, and throughout this entire movie, you see Scar's development more and more towards the envious side that he now has, and it's really shocking to see how that envious side develops, and the fact that Mufasa's life was always in Scar's hand, and Scar was always looking out for Mufasa like a brother, really hooks you into the bonds of friendship and brotherhood that they have, and seeing that bond break really hurts you to the soul. And I mean, that if you think that's a spoiler, that's not a spoiler. If you've seen The Lion King, you know this is what happens. But like, regardless, that is what really hooks you into this movie. And there's also all these minor details of people being treated as outsiders, being treated as one of their own, and minor details of, oh, the trio of Mufasa, his future wife, and Scar, and then seeing how Scar is kind of just the outsider in this group because he also has his color design different from that of like Mufasa and the wife, I forget her name, I'm sorry, but like the wife lion. So it's kind of like referencing the different aspects of how he's separating from nuanced details like that, and that is what's like, those are tiny aspects that you notice while watching this film, and it just hooks you in so much more to the story. And the one thing that really does you off-putting is how Simba immediately goes after listening to this story to tell the story once more. Let me tell you the story of a great, like, that is just the cringiest ending ever. But besides that too, another aspect of the ending that I really didn't like was how they kind of forced the Scar thing. Like, Scar's name wasn't always Scar, of course. I'm just calling him Scar because that's the name I'm used to, but like, his name wasn't always Scar, and it felt like they told this wonderful story, and then they realized, oh crap, we forgot how to transition him to the name Scar. And how to transition the banishment aspect was actually nice, well done, but fits well with the story. But the transition to the name Scar just felt so stupid, and the entire transition to the envy point, it was done so well in the movie. But then when you transition to the envy point, when it's developing to how his relation is with Mufasa at the beginning of Lion King, it just feels like, huh? They did all this beautiful development and then they just rushed that aspect at the end. Honestly, there are so many aspects of this movie between the development of these characters I feel like they rushed. If they had cut out if they were worried about time, if they cut out all the sequences of returning back to Simba's grandson with Rafiki and the Hakuna Matata duo, they could have saved that time and used it into developing the story and Scar and Mufasa's relationship even more, and it would have been even more beautiful. But by cutting it, there were so many aspects of this relationship and bond that were kind of rushed and kind of just killed. I mean, from that aspect, it was just really rushed, and it kind of kills the mood. And even at the end, it feels like, oh, we forgot about this aspect, entire development aspect. Okay, let's just toss this like this, and boom, that's how he's Scar, and that's how his envy is developed. And it's like you're developing it so well, and until you just do it like that, and it's like, oh yeah, we drew this horse perfectly, but this last leg, let's just toss it aside. It's fine. We'll just draw a straight line. Honestly, that was just it was so nice until the end, and that kind of just kills the entire mood. But overall, all in all, it was a really, really nice, well-told story. I really enjoyed the story in and of itself, and the visuals were absolutely gorgeous. The song was gorgeous. Everything else about it was gorgeous. There weren't actually a lot of songs, but the soundtrack was really nice. But yeah, the movie itself was good. I really enjoyed it. I give this movie a solid 75%. Yeah, that's lower than how I've been kind of hyping it out, saying I've loved it. The story was good. The execution of it was kind of rushed. I'm telling you, it kind of killed the entire mood of the movie. But besides that, it was actually really nice. I really love the bond between Scar and Mufasa, and it really is an emotional jerker. I really love this movie. I think you guys should totally check this out, especially if you like The Lion King. In that case, this is definitely one I think you will like. Especially if you like character bondings and that kind of stuff. Character-driven movies and character bonds. If you really like those, this will be a movie you definitely like. So check it out! Peace!